So some of you are still here bravely till the last session here. I'm here last because Zeev called me up last week and said, we need somebody from Microsoft to the stage. So I said, okay, I will come, which also means that he didn't give me enough time to prepare. So if you take a famous quote from Oscar Wilde, if Zeev had given me more time, then I'd written a shorter letter. So you guys have to suffer through more time because Zeev called me late. So I'll go through a few things. By the way, just with people who are left not drinking outside, how many startups here? Any startups left? Just a few. Okay. VCs? No VCs. Oh, there's a few VCs. And then large corporations like mine? That's great. Excellent. So first of all, it's really something where I'm actually here only because of the startups here. So the rest of you, I don't care as much. I'll just let you know. I'm here because essentially I think startups here have the best job in the world. I have the second best job. I have the second best job because at Microsoft and Microsoft Ventures, I get to use Microsoft money to not only fund many of them, or at least as many as would take my money, and then also provide them resources from Microsoft side to help them grow. So that's why I think I have the second best job. They have the first best job. The one thing I'm really here to request the few startups here and hopefully the startups outside is just be a little considerate. And the reason I say that is over the last 3 months, there's been so much hype on AI that I haven't been able to meet a single startup that doesn't come and say, you know, look, fund me because I'm AI-powered, born in the cloud, SaaS-based IoT solution. Now, if that's not a mouthful, I don't know what is. What I would say is, really what you should do is, if you're starting a new company, you should go back to first principles. Basically think, what is the big problem you're solving, the hard problem? What is the killer team you've assembled, hopefully from the 80 to 100 or from the top yard, which is where we only hire from there. Only hire from 80 to 100 and top yard, nowhere else. That's our bar. So once you figure out where the team is hired from, big market you're solving, all of that is good. Now, if AI happens to be something that will help you solve it, it's a differentiator, that's fine, mention it, but don't mention it just to get noticed. It is really, really distracting. It takes away from the mission of what you're trying to do. So that would be my one request to make sure. So what I'll do is I'll walk through a little bit of the history of AI. Then I'll talk about sort of where the current state is, how can large corporations, startups, VCs work to advance AI, and then sort of lastly, I'll talk a little bit about Microsoft and Microsoft Ventures as to what we are doing about it. So let's go through a little bit of history here. What happened in 1450, as the chart says, was the invention of the printing press. With the invention of the printing press, a big thing happened. That was actually the first event that democratized access to information. And that led to an explosion where people could now learn. This was very important. Having said that, if an author today writes a book, what they try to do, or an article, they try to do is differentiate based on the ideas. They don't say, look, I'm powered by a printing press. If there's any media here, no media. That's excellent. If there was any media here, you could bet that they don't have a printing press at home. The reason is the technology is all over, and nobody sort of thinks about the printing press as a mechanism to write an article. You just assume the technology is already there. What we want with AI is something similar. But the journey has been actually quite long to get here, and we are still not here. So going forward, in this case to 1956, there's a professor, John McCarthy from Dartmouth College, got together with 3 other luminaries, Claude Shannon, father of information theory. We got Marvin Minsky, the co-founder of MIT Labs, and then we also had Nathan Rochester from IBM. They organized a summer conference where the term AI was first used. They also had a number of other researchers that came about, and the output of the paper, it's publicly available if you read it, it's very instructive because it sort of goes through all the constructs of general AI, except that they were just a few decades too early. So just a little more fast forward, 1970, Marvin Minsky, again, co-founder of the MIT Labs, he famously said this. He said, in 3 to 8 years, we will have a machine with the general intelligence of an average human being. Again, he was a few decades off. Now, some people have told me, depending on the definition of an average human being, he might actually have been right. So it just depends on your perspective. What happened after that? It was a period where it's a winter of AI. None of the predictions came through. It's actually very much a feeling that this was overhyped even at that time. And so even like a lot of students didn't want to do their PhDs in AI. So for the startups here, remember, if this happens again, you'll take AI out of your PowerPoints all over again. So be careful as to what you write. If you're not using it, don't write it. Fast forward again to I think it was 1989, and that's Jan LeCun. Jan LeCun published a paper on backpropagation, the use of backpropagation on handwritten zip codes from the US Postal Office. This was the first time that they were able to show that when you constrain the domain, then the learning sort of is easier to generalize. And this forms actually the basis of many of the deep learning techniques that are very popular today. So that was sort of a good step forward. We come to 1997, Big Blue beats Kasparov, everybody says AI is back. Guess what? Not really. A lot of the techniques that were used were not generalizable again. It also turns out that computers are just better than humans at evaluating billions of moves in a chessboard. So that didn't work out. No, Microsoft also made a move in 1997. We introduced Clippy. How many people know Clippy? Darn, I was thinking of saying if many people didn't know, I would say it was like every other Microsoft project, it was very successful. But since some of you are here, I won't say that. It's fine. So walking back, Clippy is not viewed upon very kindly by history, but we updated. It's now updated. So if you're trying to build a neural network, it will actually help you also. Now, what happened after this in 1990? So it's 97. I think we'll just fast forward a bunch of things. We'll get to 2012. So the Google Brain, what they did was Google researchers took 10 million YouTube videos and fed it to the Google Brain. They came to this massively stunning conclusion. I could have never predicted it. Basically, the conclusion was that there's a lot of cat videos on YouTube. Now, you may laugh, okay? You may laugh, but Google researchers never told, Google Brain never trained it with the concept of a cat. It sort of was the fact that the amount of data that was fed using deep learning techniques, Google Brain made that inference. That is critical. That was like the first time massive amounts of data applied to massive amounts of compute, deep learning. That's what the results are. So that sort of, I think, is really instructive, although, obviously, there's more cat videos now. Back to Microsoft, we made, I think, into 2016, historic achievement. We now have reached human parity with conversational speech recognition. So really, it has been advancing, and to the point now where today, like all of the companies on this slide actually are using AI. It's just there. It's not science fiction anymore. Again, we're getting massive amounts of data, more compute, this is getting better. So this is all being applied. Last part of the history lesson, nothing to do with AI. But there's a very smart group of people here. Let me see, what picture is this from? Where do you think the picture is from? Spring where? Wow, nobody knows. No, it's spring in Israel. It's an Israel conference. Why would I show spring in China? It doesn't make any sense. Come on, it's like I was told that this is like the quintessential picture and you can't get it. Okay, so why do I bring this up? It's truly the spring of AI. I would say, this is the time when everybody is hopeful, but you never know. With the past history, another winter might be coming. And I know that one has been scheduled for summer of 2017, of course, unless the production of Game of Thrones is delayed again, which I hope it doesn't. But please always be instructive about what history is. So moving forward, let's get to why now. Why is all this happening today? It's been studied for 50 years, but suddenly today, you see a lot of AI deep learning. Well, it's because of the last 10 plus years, the cost of hardware sensors has dropped dramatically. You see a drone there. I don't know if Air Robotics presented today or not, but they have this fully automated drone system that really is remarkable. And in like 10 years back, that even a simple consumer drone used to be 100,000 plus. Now you can get it for 700 or maybe less. So the cost of hardware and sensors has decreased. That means lots more data. Compute has increased dramatically. That means you can crunch it. So really, those are all significant advances which will allow deep learning to take root. But really, what has also happened with this is that immense amount of wealth creation. We all know as startups, VCs, all of these companies are great. I use Uber a lot. My daughter uses Snapchat. But regardless, underlying it is hardware, sensors, compute, networking, ever present, cheap. Because of that, those things are possible. We need the same kind of wealth creation in AI. We are not there yet. We need to be at a point where anybody, just like in the past era, could write some code, develop a mobile phone app, or consume it. Right now, we are not at that stage in AI. Despite all the advances we made, we are not there. So we need a similar construct in AI to create this next generation of wealth creation. So how do we do that? One is large company R&D. So that's what we are here for. We are here to do R&D to solve, I would say, the core building blocks. The core building blocks are vision, speech, where I think there's been massive amounts of progress. Language is next. I think it's catching up. The last one is going to take some time. The true knowledge is going to take some time. That's not something that's in any horizon right now. So I think, but again, these are the core building blocks where the large companies, including Microsoft, are putting in lots of effort. The other thing is, like the increase in computing from last time, there's been a huge new computing paradigm that's being built. What do you think this is? This is Azure, but it's also the world's fastest AI supercomputer. Why do I say that? It can now has the capacity of 1 exaflop. For non-mathematically inclined folks here, which is very rare, it's a billion operations a second. What can it do? It can convert the entire English Wikipedia. That's what, 5 million articles, 3 billion words, in less than a tenth of a second. That is amazing. And this is just getting better. So this has already been built. So what can startups do? There's large companies that are doing work. What do startups do? It's vast amount of opportunities in applying AI. There's applications of AI in cybersecurity, in data science, in education. I'm saying time's up, so I'm going to be faster a little bit. But these are all places where this is not really taking away jobs. You can also put up AI where you can augment humans. In information security, data science, there's just like negative unemployment. You can't find people in these areas. So automating makes a lot of sense. Education is great. Again, areas where you can democratize access to more AI education. Professor Ashok Goel from Georgia Tech created this AI bot to teach his AI class. And the whole class did not realize that the teaching assistant that they were dealing with was an AI bot till the end of the class. It was also named Jill Watson, which also didn't give it away, apparently. So this is sort of getting better and better. Lastly, saving lives through medical imaging, a lot of radiologists shortage. You basically can't get scans done using AI. You can automate it, have the only most critical ones for radiologists to see. So there's a lot more opportunities where AI can be good and good for business. Really quickly, again, what is Microsoft doing? We really believe that, I think Satya's mission, he's said many times, is not only what he says here, but to empower every person and every person and organization on the planet to do more, which means we need to get technological breakthroughs that basically drive growth beyond us in the world. What we have done, we open sourced our framework for AI. We also teamed up with OpenAI to democratize AI. Furthermore, at Microsoft Ventures, we're also taking action. We announced AI Fund for Good. We announced investment element.ai. We sourced the acquisition of Maluba. And then we're working with our MSR team to advance research. So fast forward, I'm done. And I think this will get you to your Jameson and Cokes at this point. Thank you.